Ankita ji, you just heard Nikhil ji at length. It's the most bizarre of all objections I have heard. Now let me take three of his primary objections. Phone, income tax and PAN number. Mr. Nikhil, today when you take a phone connection, are you not supposed to fill a KYC? Know your customer is there where your identity has to be established by you by way of some proofs. So it's already in existence. When you pay your income tax, you have a PAN card number and your identity is very much established. I will go one step forward. When you use your credit card, the credit card is only issued to you once your identity is established. So if an Aadhar card is a part of your establishment of identity, what is it that you're talking? See, intrusion in privacy and establishing your identity are two different things completely. And in the garb of establishment of identity, you are raising objection about intrusion of privacy. Now, I don't think you have gone through the act. Now, let me show you the act. This is the Aadhar Act of 2016. This act itself provides for your right to privacy. Let me read out this thing to you. But yes, this is section 30 of the act. It says biometric information deemed to be sensitive personal information. Right. So any information which is there in biometric form is sensitive personal information. Any unauthorized use of it entails a punishment of 3 years in prison and 10 lakh rupees as fine. So it is completely illegal.
Only biometric.
Now, very eloquently, you have been talking about. Can I finish?
Okay,
I will intervene.
Yes.
And I think I have a decent debate. I like to have a decent debate. Now you have raised about Rajasthan. Sir Nikhil, if you go down and just check how many bogus ration card holders who were supposedly drawing ration from PDS have been eliminated. Do you have any idea? What you are doing is you will pick up an exception and discredit the rule because you have a vested interest.
All right. Okay, we take all your points. Sudhanshu Mittal, we take all your points. And before I come back to Nikhil Dev for a rejoinder to that, I also want to bring in Mohandas Pai at this point. Sudhanshu Mittal.
So the problem is not with the provisions. The problem is whether it's a money bill or not. Now let me remind Mr. Iyer, whose memory may have failed him, that this bill was passed, the Aadhar Act, which is in front of me, 2015, was passed as a money bill. And if that was illegal and it was not to be a money bill, you should have gone to the court and taken a stay order, which none of this has happened. So it has established its legality. So you are challenging the legality, not the provisions. We are here to discuss the provisions. We are not here to look at what the parliament procedures are like. We are discussing the merits of what is being proposed. Now, let me come down to the basic. Let me read out section 7 proviso. Because Nikhil has been making a point that it is compulsory and denial. I'm so happy Mr. Pai has exposed this fraud. 30% have been denied without any statistical evidence to back. Is there any is there any evidence, credible evidence to prove his claim? None.
Absolutely.
Because he makes a point just to prove a point. Achha. Now let me read it to you.
But Mr. Mittal, he says he's citing the Rajasthan government's own website. Do you have a counter to that?
Which Rajasthan? No. Which? What is he citing, please? Come again.
Website figures,
what is he
Mr.
citing?
Mittal, website figures.
Saying what?
Okay, let me take out the website figures.
Which show
where does the figure say that 30% of people? Can I finish? Nikhil, have decency. Allow me to finish. Where is it on the website which says 30% of infirms and old age people are not able to go there and get it? I mean, don't lie. Come on, we are all intelligent to understand what is truth and what is lie. Now, let me read out the provision of the Act, which you may not have read. And I would have appreciated to argue this case. You should have read the Act at least. It says, provided that if an Aadhar number is not assigned to an individual, the individual shall be offered alternative and viable means of identification for delivery of subsidy, benefits or services. The Act itself provides it, so it does not preclude people not having Aadhar
All right,
cards.
all right. I think Nikhil has a response to that.
Can
Yes.
I answer that?
Yes, go ahead.
The Supreme Court has not laid down any restriction. You see, whatever restrictions were, they were in 2015. Subsequent to that,
But
there
this-
has been an
today-
act.
today-
an act which
today-
has, allow me to finish.
Today
An
it
act
has
has
said
not been.
it
please,
can't be
please.
mandatory for social
No,
welfare
no,
schemes.
let me
It's
finish.
reiterated its
Let me
position.
finish.
Yes, go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go
It's
ahead,
an
Mr.
observation of the this thing. See, the fact is that 2016 Act, unless it is state or there is a specific debarment, this Act is the law of land. Now, if this is a law of land, this is a law of land. Unless changed by a seven judges bench, let it be so. If it's stuck down as illegal, it will be stuck down as illegal.
All right,
Till
Nikhil,
such time it is a legal
is there a
document.
worry?
I mean,
Is
let's
there a
not-
worry
let's
that
not
if
have
Aadhar
perverse
is going to be
arguments.
linked to so many different transactions altogether, by the time we hear from the Constitution bench, it's already going to be too late? Nikhil De.
Yeah, so the bench said, I quote, "We will also make it clear that the Aadhar card scheme is purely voluntary and it cannot be made mandatory till the matter is finally decided by this court one way or the other." Until that court decides,
So that's
you
also a
cannot
lie.
make it mandatory. That's what the Supreme Court has said. Whether or not you can't pass laws later, the
Sir,
court has
sir,
already
let me
said
read out
you
the other
cannot
part
make
of it.
mandatory, and it's only the court
The
that can
apex court,
decide.
however, said
It's only the
government
court
cannot
that
be
can
stopped
decide.
from
So
using
in the
Aadhar
interim, how
or
can
the
government
unique
pass
identification
whatever,
number
make it
in
mandatory?
other schemes like opening of bank accounts. Here is the order. Don't be selective. Don't be smart. You see, this is the worst.
No,
when you try to manipulate a
smart,
legal
I'm reading out word
announcement,
for word
it is
what
the
the
worst
Supreme
thing you
Court
can
has
do.
said.
Don't give misinformation.
Manisha Karayar, I'm
Here
going
it is.
to
I
leave
challenge you on this.
Gentlemen, yes, both of you are correct in that the Supreme Court has said that it can't be made mandatory for social welfare schemes, but it's also said that it can't be stopped from linking it to
cannot
non-welfare
stop the
benefits. Absolutely. But Manisha Karayar, final words to you. The Supreme Court hasn't yet pronounced on the Aadhar's constitutionality. Should there perhaps be a bit of a pullback on this expansion of the Aadhar's mandate? We're seeing it now being linked possibly to driving licenses. The UGC says that Aadhar should be there on students' degrees. Was this what Aadhar was meant to be?
Sure. There has been a legislative process which is clearly antithetical to the spirit and the letter of the directions given thus far by the Supreme Court. But the Rajya Sabha itself, in the course of the legislative process, passed an amendment proposed by the Congress which read, provided that if an Aadhar number
Yes.
is not assigned to, or if an individual chooses not to opt for enrollment, the individual shall be offered alternate and viable means of identification for delivery of the subsidy,
Right.
benefit or
Right.
service. After the Rajya Sabha passed this by majority,
Yes.
merely by making this a money bill,
Okay.
the government has got out of the genuine process of legislation which is
Because you are
laid
the
down in our
majority, you
constitution
can bulldoze
All
and
right,
the
all
practices
right.
of
I
our
have a-
parliament.
you
That
I have
is
a
why
feeling that
I
we're going to be
regard the
we're going to be
legislation-
talking about this till the cows come home. I'm afraid I'm completely out of time at this point, gentlemen. So we leave it there for this evening. But no doubt there'll be many more occasions to discuss this. Thank you for joining us on The Buck Stops Here. There's much more.